I'm in my craft room. I'm melting wax, and that's a painting that my dad did, so I thought I would put it in the art studio. Yeah, that's the art wall. I wanted to do this because someone had purchased a wax sheep ornament. Don't drop it. And this is the mold. And it arrived with the legs broken, and I was so shocked by that. But she showed me the pictures, and it's been a while, but I've been able to I found the mold, and I found bits and pieces. I had to buy more wax because I couldn't find my wax. And then, so I'm gonna remake it for her and just send it to her out of pocket because, of course, I feel horrible. It's my responsibility to do that. All right, let me shut this off and show you how I prepare the mold and all that. Bye. I am going to be making a wax piece with this mold. It's a ceramic mold, and this is my wax warmer. I already had beeswax in there. I had this flag piece that I forgot to put a hanger in, and so I'm going to just break it apart and throw it in there, because it's just beeswax with activated charcoal, which is what I use to color my wax. It has cinnamon and the cinnamon oil, which is all I use for my wax pieces. I used to use other scents, but people didn't like them. So I just stick with cinnamon. And yeah, I'm gonna throw more stuff in there. I have this, oh, you can kind of see it melting. That's cool. This gets very hot. I have all these little pieces. Like I had done this little bee, and this is all beeswax. So I'm just throwing them in there. Pieces that don't work out, you know, you can recycle, reuse. It's a beautiful thing. It's quite forgiving. So I'm gonna throw all these little random pieces in there. And this is, you know what? I don't want to throw this in, but you can see I did this little, it's like a coffin shelf. I hope you can see that. It's so cool. I'm gonna keep that. But I have here another one that's just the natural, you see it's the natural beeswax color. And I'm gonna throw it in because it got a little wonky. But I'm just gonna break this apart. And yeah, you can see it's melting. Let me tell you, beeswax is one of the, if not the hardest wax, which is why I really enjoyed getting into the process of the beeswax ornaments and figurines, because it's a sturdy wax and it will last pretty much forever. I mean, you have to really put it in very hot conditions to melt it, versus soy wax melts just by looking at it. Yeah, I had started doing soy wax candles, and my goodness, it's just not worth it. To me, it wasn't worth it, because I wasn't doing glass candles, you know? I was doing actually shaped candles, and the effort was just too much. So yeah, we're gonna watch that melt. And I use this chopstick to stir the wax. It's not ready for stirring at this point. And I'll show you how I prepare the mold. So let's let that sit there for a second. Hi, you're seeing there the spout. That gets very hot. So yeah, these are brown bag. These are meant for cookies, but you can use, I've made, I'll put a picture of it because I can't go get up and get it now. I made a cast paper piece from the mold, so you can use it for different things as long as you prepare it. For wax, if I poured the wax in there, it would stick to it and it would never come off of it, and I would have to like melt the whole thing. It would be a holy mess. So just regular, you know, this one's butter flavored, but it doesn't matter. Any kind of spray. We can use also petroleum jelly, but that's messier, so I just do one of these things, and that's too much, but we're gonna wipe it down just to make sure that it's greased up and the wax will just come right off of it. You don't want to leave any kind of pools of oil in there, so there we go. I use black jute for my hanger, so what I do is I leave it in there. I'll put it in now. Let me check the wax. There's a big chunk still in there, so you know, it takes a good 10, 15, 20 minutes for the whole thing to melt. All right, I'm gonna cover it back up and we're gonna wait. The mold is now ready, and I'm going to also pour, since I'm here, might as well. I have this Medusa mold, which is a very popular piece. I don't have to do anything with silicone molds. You don't have to do anything with them. I love silicone molds. They don't last forever like a ceramic mold would if you take care of it and don't break it. But, you know, as long as it lasts, I'll be using it. And this is a piece that I sold out. So this is a little figurine. It's like a little goblin. I'm going to pour him. I don't have to do anything. I have a little silicone cup that I pour the wax into from the machine, from the warmer, and then I let it sit for a little bit, and then I pour it into the mold because the wax coming out of that thing is very hot. I'm going to pour that, and this is a bowl, has a very nice design, and that's it. All right, let's wait for the wax and then I'll get back to you. Oh, the wax is melted. As you can imagine, this is very hot, so we just do it carefully. Yeah, so this is beeswax with activated charcoal. There's cinnamon in there and cinnamon oil, cinnamon essential oil. So I'm just gonna, it's already been prepared with the oil, and I'm just gonna pour it literally into. And you see this happens. Oh, it happens where the table is not perfectly aligned. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that kind of shit happens. The feet, and this is messy. Let me tell you, this is a messy process. This table that I'm doing this on is not big enough. So I definitely have to, so you see, I dip my twine. This is jute, black jute. It could be twine, it could be whatever you want. You could probably even put wire. But I like the jute. And then as it's cooling, I sort of keep filling it so that it gets a little chunkier. I think that'll work just well, perfect. And you see, since I'm embedding this in there, it will be very sturdy once it's dried. And it starts to dry, you can see it's already starting to set up here. It does it very quickly. So let's grab my little goblin. Just do a steady pour there. And so as it starts to settle, as it starts to set, I should say, it will shrink. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm stirring the inside of the warmer. The charcoal settles, and so you have to be stirring it every once in a while. Hey, Wendy, I'll give you your food now. Be patient, little girl, okay? Be a good girl. Let me see if I can move my sheep without hurting it. That way it's this, I don't know. Wait, Wendy, you gotta wait. This is tricky to move. Yeah, okay. You see, this is drying, it's gonna dry really light, and that's gonna be a problem. I can already see it there. I can see it, and that's not what I want. So I might have to do that over again. You see it's coming out much darker because I stirred it. And that's what I should have done before because it had been settling there. So fudge sickles. Oh, this thing has decided that I'm gonna have to turn it on again. Because it's the problem. Oh God. You see that this is not easy? Whoever said that crafting and all this shit is easy, and that's why people don't want to pay prices of, you know, sometimes it's not worth the price that you have to charge for these handmade things, because you see the trouble already. It's a lot of effort. Okay, so I cut a piece of twine. Oh, I keep saying twine. It's jute for my Medusa. I'm not gonna make her too thick. Yeah, boy, Wendy. Wendy's over there like, bitch, you better feed me. You need to stop doing tutorials and feed my ass. Let me do one more. And then this fiasco of a show how to do something tutorial thing, whatever we are calling it, is done. Can you see me? Yeah. That should be enough. I don't want to make these too thick because they're supposed to be ornaments. So, and then we just put the jute in there, so it kind of is even. As it starts to cool off, it's easier to work with because it'll just stay. All right, this is still an acceptable color-ish, maybe. So you see the difference already. This is hot. Because I didn't stir the wax, the charcoal settles to the bottom, so you have to keep stirring it so that it's within the wax. It's drying to a lighter color. It'll dry probably to this color, but you see these are much dark. These are black. That's how I like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, hit or miss. When I take this out of the mold, I'll come back. So these are all the pieces. They're still cooling off. It's getting a little darker. It should be okay. Once I put cinnamon on it, hopefully it'll be okay. And then that's a little goblin, a little demon goblin figurine. That's a bowl, and that's my Medusa, and that's a raven. So yeah, they're cooling off. We'll come back when I'm ready to demold. Hi, okay, so I've moved to a different desk. Okay, so everything has already set. You can see from what I mentioned, you can already see it, how dark this is. It's almost like going in gradation from darkest to lightest, but it's okay. The sheep, and you'll see that it just lifts right off. It's so beautiful, you know, because we had prepped it with the oil. It's a good color already. I was worried that it was going to be too light. So here, let me move this aside. I thought I would have to redo it, but I'm happy with that color. And then here, let's do, this is a raven, I think. And this just demolds really nicely. So you can see the difference in the color. It's a big difference. This is how I prefer my pieces, but you know, this is okay too because of the next step I'm going to do. This is Medusa. I just love these molds so much. These molds cost me, I think, $14 each. Silicone molds are very expensive. Yep, there's Medusa. She's very popular, so I'll have to do a few of these. And then here, let's do the bowl. Even the demolding process is difficult when making these things. So, you know, I could, you know, when people say, oh, that's so easy, anybody can do that. Okay, go ahead, do it. I want you to do it. Buy the mold, spend the money on the mold, spend the money on the wax. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it's a manual workout. But look at how beautiful that came out. It's beautylicious. And it's a functional bowl. It's wax, so you have to keep that in mind. Let's do, now this is the guy. It's the figurines that are long like that, and you have to pull the mold off. Sometimes it's really, really difficult. But some manufacturers of the molds are very responsible, and they make this really much more flexible type of mold. And you can see this has been much easier than the bowl because this silicone is softer. Now the head is always a prayer, right? Because sometimes the heads pop off. But I think he's gonna be good. And this guy has horns, so I'm careful with the horns too. Oh, he came out good. Some people will be scared by this little image, but he's just, I mean, it's oh, he's really light compared to, look at that. So we got our figures. Now I'm gonna show you the next step. Okay, hello, I'm back. So this step is, I use Saigon cinnamon. It's very expensive, but well, cinnamon in general is expensive. But yeah, I use a lot of it. This is what I do. I grab my piece, shove it in there, and I use gloves because I don't want to get the cinnamon on my hands. I've done it without gloves before, but yeah. So yeah, this must be terrifying for some people. Oh my God, what is she doing? And I just rub it into the piece. And even the hanger gets cinnamon. So this is a makeup brush. It's a blender brush, and they're really fluffy. And so I remove excess cinnamon this way. This is a messy process, and I usually wear a mask. I'm not wearing one now. I forgot to grab my mask, but yeah. Because, you know, as an asthmatic, it's not really a good idea to be breathing in fine particles of cinnamon. So yeah, but it's okay. I'm far away from it now. I grab a napkin with some alcohol on it, and I do this because it sort of embeds the cinnamon, but it also, I don't know, I like the way it looks. And I use alcohol instead of water because alcohol evaporates very quickly. So it doesn't give it time to get moist or wet or anything. You see. All right, the bowl. The bowl's going in. You're like, no, it was beautiful. This is how I like my pieces. This is how I do my pieces. Everything is symbolic for me. Cinnamon is an extremely powerful spice. It has really great properties. If you do spell work and you use cinnamon, it just enhances the power of the spell or the power of the properties that goes along with the cinnamon. The properties of all the other ingredients that you're using. It's like a power booster. It's very powerful. something you might want to do even if you don't do any kind of spell work. It's good luck. You can grab a little bit of cinnamon, and on the 1st of every month, you open your door and you go outside your door, and you blow in a little bit of cinnamon inside your house. The 1st of the month, it's supposed to bring, it's symbolic of prosperity and abundance and blessings and all that. Just, you know, a little, and I like rubbing it in when I see that it's not. So it's a process, you know. It's a process. That's how, and I have to do some more work on it. Ooh, here, let's do the raven. And I don't know, I just like the way it looks. It's all about the aesthetics and how I think it needs to look. That's all that matters. Let's do Medusa. Here, let's throw him in. I like embellishing my pieces with paint, bronze, copper, or gold, because it gives it that extra, almost ancient look. I want them to look like old pieces. Like I said, like a little relic that was found in the desert. I don't know if you can see her. There she is. So I'm gonna put cinnamon away and I'll come back to the next step. Hi, okay, so the last part is I like embellishing with paint. I have all the colors of metallic paints. I tend to just use, and I use the Deco Art, but it can be any metallic paint. For the sheep, I'm going to do a combo of the copper with gold. Copper is sort of like a base. So I pour it into the cap, a little glob of it. So literally, I use my finger, I dab it onto a napkin to get excess off. So I'm not putting a glob of it on there. It's almost like a dry brush technique, but using my finger. And I'm just touching the raised areas. So the areas on the mold, or the image at this point, that's raised. So it picks up it just enhances it, the texture, the pattern, is what I'm trying to say. And not all images have a nice little pattern like the sheep does, but I do it on the edges. I'll do it on the, you see his face just came alive right there. And a little bit on his legs, just a little bit. That might have been too much. And it's all just intuitive, you know, it's just what I'm feeling in that moment. Okay, so that's it right now. Then might go with this one. It's called Splendid Gold. And this will just be in some areas on some of the areas, not all. That's it. That's all I'm doing. There it is. All right, let's do gold on this one. And this is just on the raised edges there. I might do copper in the middle. I'm just gonna do it a little different. It just makes the decorative pattern stands out a little more. It makes it stand out a little more. I can't do creative things and talk at the same time. It's like my brain shuts off the language part to be able to do the creative part. Let me tell you, it's not easy to do these types of videos because the brain is divided into these sections. I don't know. I like using my finger because I can feel where the texture, where the pattern is. You know what I mean? With the brush, it's not the same. I tried it with a little sponge brush and I just didn't like, I like getting my hand in it. Yeah, this gold is very subdued. Let me bring in a little bit of the, I love this copper, let me tell you. I love it. I wanted it in the middle. Just here and there. And these bottom ones don't get anything. It's harder to do the bottom ones without getting it on the bowl part. So whatever, that's fine. Perfect. That's how the bowl looks. And let's do Raven. I think I made his beak gold. To me, this isn't metallic enough, you know? The deco art gold is not up to snuff, as they say. I don't know who they is, but I'm going to clean out the background from the, so it's not as cinnamony and it helps him stand out. You see, it's cleaning it off. Look at that. All right, Medusa. Let's do Medusa. Okay, Medusa, your face is looking a little weird. I don't know why. All right. Let's get that bronze and hit some of these snakes. I'm gonna have to carve her face a little bit more because she's, I don't know what happened to her. Let's do the gold. Gold is better. It helps the snakes stand out. There's still a lot of cinnamon in there. I'm telling you, this is a process, people. And I enjoy every bit of it. I enjoy it very much. It's fun. This is all I want to do. I don't want to have to do regular jobs. This is what I want to do. Okay. I'm going to have to come in with some black paint. I can't, because that wasn't enough to remove. That cinnamon really embeds itself quite a bit into everything, so. And I don't like that gold. It's not goldy enough, so I'm gonna have to go get my good gold. The other thing that happens, the cinnamon, with time, the cinnamon sort of settles in and it kind of almost disappears into the wax. I don't even know how to explain it. Okay, I'm gonna be back with the black paint. So this is gonna be an experiment because I can't find my black paint. I haven't found my box of paints yet. So the crazy experiment is that since I can't find my black paint, I'm gonna use my Chinese ink, and it's an experiment. I'm not gonna lie. This is Yasutomo. I've had this for so many years, it's ridiculous. And I don't have anywhere to put it, so we're just gonna have to improvise here on my cat's treat container. She won't mind. Don't tell her. This is crazy, but this is how we're doing it. Just a little bit. Let's see what happens. Let's try it on Raven first, his background, because I'm still not satisfied with his background there. So that's actually more than I'm gonna need. It might not work because ink is water-based. I mean, I know acrylic paint is water-based as well, but acrylic has a binder. Let's see. Let me shut up for a second. I don't want it to get on people's hands. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Once that dries, I'm gonna rub it off and see what happens. So it's a little experiment. That's all. But I like that contrast. I need that contrast. He looks much better that way. All right, Medusa, give me your face. Whew, this is stressful. I stress myself out. Do you need accentuations in your face? His horns are supposed to be gold. So what's the black doing? Okay. It doesn't come off. So that's good. All right. The ink worked. Good to know. I have a lot of it. Yeah, the gold is what needs to happen here with these snakes. I mean, there's still that hint of copper in the background. I won't cover all that up, but she needs gold snakes for sure. And then I'll go in when I can go grab my other tools later, and I'll carve her face out a little bit. I would prefer not to have to do that, because, you know, I'm not charging $1 million for this. And that's a lot of extra work, but I will carve out her eyes a little bit more. But you see the snakes, the gold really helps. So that's it. There you go. That's how I do my wax pieces. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll leave a link to my shop if you want to take a look at all. I might do another video showing the inventory that I currently have, and maybe one day I'll do a video of all the molds that I have. That would take 5 days. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.